Hello, guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Manpreet Hanspal. I'm an architect and urban designer, and you are tuning into the third episode of podcast series, which is called Architect and Urban Designers Imagination to Reality. And today, with us, we have a very talented person, Arsh Mehta. He's an architect based in Mumbai, India, and has witnessed the industry growing for years now. From studying architecture to actually investing in his own architectural firm, he has grown from strength to strength. Thank you, Ash, for doing this with us. Welcome to our channel.
Thank you, Manpreet, for such a beautiful introduction.
No,
Glad
no,
to
you
be here.
deserve it.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
How are you
So
doing
yeah,
today?
good. It's a lazy Sunday, so good.
Yeah,
But yeah,
and I am disturbing you on your weekend, right?
no, absolutely not.
Okay, so the main reason why I invited you on this podcast because I think you are the one who has studied architecture and then has been an intern. Firstly, we were intern in the same company, so that's how I know of him, and we have been friends for so long. And honestly, I learned from him so many things, like how you can experiment with the work you are doing and how to start your own firm. There are many things you will be hesitant about, but still you need to take that first step, and that's what I have learned from him. So my question to you is, what were your initial thoughts about starting your own firm, and why did you choose architecture in the first place to study?
Thank you, Manpreet, again for your kind words. But there was no initial thought of, I want to do architecture in the first place. When I was in my junior college, I was completely going to pick up a different field, but uh, turns out that I couldn't do it. And architecture,
I
NATA
don't believe you.
exams had the least amount of preparation time, so I jumped into this.
Okay, fine. And tell me, when you were studying architecture, was there any point when you felt that, okay, I belong to this? This is something I really want to pursue in future.
That's a question that I still ask myself. But
Oh
that
my
do I
God.
belong to this field? Am I good in this or no? But yeah, it was whenever I joined the college, it was fun and it never felt exerting or
Yeah,
something where it's like I don't belong to this. So it has been a fun
that is a good
experience till
sign.
now.
Yeah, then
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is a
yeah.
good sign. Okay, tell
Yes.
me, what is your inspiration? Like, for example, in whichever profession we are, we idealize someone, right? Like, if we
Yes.
are doctors or actors or architects. So, is there any architectural practice or any particular individual that you really look up to? You look up to their drawings, their projects, and you're like, I want to make something like that.
There are a few. There are a few. I still haven't done a lot of research on so many design firms that are there. But yeah, there
Hmm.
are a few like Busrite Design Studio. Like I like the way how they think and their approach to the approach to their designs is amazing. Then Hunarshala Foundation is there. Their sustainable
Hmm.
approach towards the projects is amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, and there are many more like Architecture Brio,
of
Parallax, there are
course.
a lot more studios. But yeah, these are the two studios which I look up to, and if I get a chance, I would like to follow their work culture and the process that they have in their office.
So, how do you see yourself in this office scenario? Like, are you a serious boss, or you're like, yeah, we'll do it, whatever? Like, do you follow deadlines very seriously, or you are a little bit more like relaxed about it?
Deadlines to absolutely not. We do have deadlines, but we never
Yeah.
follow the deadlines. And you
But
also
I'll
being
tell
a
the
designer.
audience about it because they should not feel that, okay, he's very like chilled out like that. Because when you're in architecture, you set up a deadline, of course, because you have to cater to the client. But then there are so many changes coming up every time because you are presenting. Then there is feedback, then some constructive feedback also, and sometimes it can be silly also. The points you don't agree upon as a professional, but you have to ultimately cater to your client. So then they get pushed. I mean, the deadlines, they keep on getting pushed, and then you're like, we don't know where we are ending up this.
An excellent point actually made by you. We do have deadlines, But there
Yeah.
are two things that generally don't make us follow the time or the whatever deadlines or time limits that set for us is one is the changes that the clients or the vendors or so and so many characters are into play they give us, and one is your constant desire to improve on your design. So
Exactly.
you are always wanting to change it yourself also. So again,
That
I've
lands you
realized
up in a
that
mess sometimes.
yes. So it's just one night before the deadline that the work gets complete.
Yeah. Knew that, okay, somehow, whenever we had a deadline, there were like some huge changes made in the design and the concept was like, okay, so we start from scratch again. Not like discarding everything, but then there are changes, and then you have to redo everything you are doing according to those changes. And so it's good because that really satiates your creative side of a profession. But sometimes it gets little like on your nerves that okay, you have to do, and because there are so many details like from window, doors, then interiors, and then furniture layout, and like every detail then gets compromised and you have to redo it. So yeah, I'm not a very big
Absolutely,
fan of
absolutely.
revising the plans again and again because
Yes.
maybe I'm not that professional who will just keep redoing it because I feel that I'm lost and I do not have a vision with which I started. If I go with one vision, okay, this is how I want to say it, and I will do the modifications required on the way. But I'm not a huge fan of, working again and again on your concept because then you're losing the track of your vision.
Absolutely, absolutely. Having said about the changes and everything, I also do believe that good work is always appreciated when it is delivered on time. So that
Yeah,
also has always have to, follow the middle path. You cannot go in extremes.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I want to know one very good question, and this is my curiosity as well. What, according to you, is the like a to do or the rule for making a good clientele? Like, how can you really be that goal architecture firm, or like, how can you really feel that okay, your clients are really good with you and it's gonna land up you two more projects?
Only one word for this: good work. Good work,
But
good work, good work. Yeah.
But is there any other factor, like if you jot down the factors, except for your credibility or how skilled you are, what are the like two to three factors which really serve when you are, closing the deal with the client?
So, firstly, understanding the client is the most important thing when you meet the client. What generally happens between a designer and a client is we do generally, being artists, have an artist ego, a designer's ego, that we want to follow a certain process, a certain way of designing that is there, which is where a conflict arises between the client that I want this, but you know, there is always this gap that is
Yeah,
a big void between us. But what I feel is when you have those restrictions, that is where you show in your creativity and produce good work, wherein the client is also satisfied and you as a designer also, have to constantly keep on upgrading of what the client wants. Having said this, again, you cannot agree onto everything that the client or the contractors or the vendors
yeah,
are telling you, because as a professional you need to put your stand also. But yeah,
agreed.
finding the bridge between everyone, being a good team
Mm-hmm.
leader, that's what is the uh, thing which I guess will create more clientele and good work.
I think working with your client is like working in a marriage. You have to agree to disagree to certain things. Yeah, I have totally felt it because somewhere you know what is right as a professional, which you have already said, and sometimes you have to listen to your client because ultimately it's their place and money, right? You cannot be
Absolutely.
imposing your preferences on them. You can guide them the pros and cons, and it's their decision to go with whatever they want to. But I would like to say it's like they should also understand that okay, they want it in a certain way and they want a certain vibe, but at the same time how to work it out, they might have to listen to the professional at the end of the day.
Absolutely, absolutely. You cannot tell a doctor what medicine to give you. So,
Yeah,
accordingly, again, not comparing myself to a doctor, but when you're hiring someone, you need to have a certain amount of faith so that
yeah,
good work can happen.
yeah. I think you need to trust your team.
Yeah,
That's when you get a really quality project. Okay, now tell
right.
me what is the most exciting part about your projects? Like whenever you take up a project and through the process of designing and curating, what are the things that you really enjoy doing and look up to?
So, the most interesting part about our field is that you get to meet new people every day
Yeah,
and understand about their culture, their work, their lifestyle. So, to understand and research about their lifestyle, or whatever project you're doing, suppose you're making an office, so you understand about their products, their way of working, their way of thinking, which is the most interesting thing I feel about our profession. That you get to learn so much every day, get to meet so many new people every day.
yeah.
Yeah, that is, I feel that's the most interesting part about how to research and know everyone's culture and then implementing that character into your design.
I think what you are trying to say is building a connection.
Yeah, that too. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, because you connect with people, but then you connect with different lifestyles and cultures as well. Because, for
Yes.
example, I'm a true blue Punjabi. If I have to design for a South Indian, I have to really dive into what goes in their daily routine, how they like to maneuver around, what is their idea of, spending time at home or any space that you are doing. So it's corally. I mean, you need to know the person a little bit, of course. And when the briefing is done, I think that's where most of the professional architects or interior designer or whoever is involved in the process, they really, I mean, they ask it again and again to their client that please brief us about your do's and don'ts, how you like it, what is your vibe. And sometimes clients feel that, okay, just show us something and then we'll tell you, but we really need that first reference of jotting down our points that okay, these are the majors that they really prefer and they would like to be incorporated, and how they like their view or their exterior and interiors to be transitioned. So yeah.
Right. It is a challenge. It is a challenge to get your
Yeah,
first client, to keep the show running and in a
yeah.
good way, following a good work culture, good designs, maintaining lunch. Challenge, but an interesting challenge.
So that actually marks my next question, that is it worth investing time and energy and efforts in building a firm, or you think going the very organic and rational way, like conventionally you study architecture and then you graduate and then you join a firm and you carry on as a junior architect for a few years, then you step on to some different role, but you chose to directly build your firm right when you graduated. So, is it worth investing your time? I mean, how do you look at it now after so many years?
For me,
Yeah.
definitely yes, definitely yes. I cannot say for it's the same for each individual. Probably
Mm-hmm.
everyone has a different way of working, different way of thinking. People don't want to start their businesses, they enjoy the work they're doing in their firms, probably. But for me, it was definitely worth the invest. It was challenging, it is still challenging.
Of course.
Yeah, it is still challenging, but yes, I get I got to learn so much, which I feel if I would have continued the job, I wouldn't have learned so much about the groundwork that we do, how to run the show,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
not only just sitting and designing. Again, I'm not undermining whoever's sitting in an office and just designing.
Of
It's
course.
a different ball game altogether. But yeah, for me, it was definitely worth the invest. I do not regret the decision. And yeah, you can ask this question after probably 5 more years. I would have a clearer
When
answer
you'll
then.
be more richer,
Yeah. Hopefully.
right? And you'll
Yes.
be doing international trips every year. And I'll be like,
Yes. Absolutely.
"Oh, where is the money coming from?" You like, remember, I started my firm, which you did not.
Money can come in always, but yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. This question would be more valid probably after 5, 10 years.
yeah. But I think starting your own firm is something, it's like a baby project, right? That, whatever I'm investing, time, money, effort, anything, and even if it's hectic sometime, but the satisfaction of doing it for yourself is there. That whatever I'm doing, this is for my own company and for my own good.
Yes, yes, yes. That satisfaction is there.
Yeah,
It does have
because
the demerits also, but
yeah,
yeah,
it
this
does
this
have, of
feeling,
course,
yeah,
but
is there.
then you look at the pros also. Sometimes,
Yes,
if you weigh the pros and the cons, I'm sure the list of pros is more than the cons.
definitely.
When you're in a job, there is a fixed salary, there is certain amount of financial security that you have, that okay, the check is coming at the end of the month, and then you really need to have guts to, say that okay, I'm gonna quit this for some time and then experiment with my own firm and see how it goes in the future. And if I maintain a good clientele and I know okay, I am landing up with good projects, then you feel good about it. But taking that first initiative is a big thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And also, the thing is, people are always scared to take that step, but I would say that the earlier you take the step, it's the better,
Yeah,
because what I really see is now a lot, like after COVID, after like the COVID situation happened, like there are a lot of firms coming, new firms coming up. People have taken that, they had this time to think about their work, and after COVID, a lot of people have opened their firms. But I see them starting from ground zero, even if whatever experience they have with any number of projects. But
mm-hmm.
starting your own firm is like laying your own foundation from scratch. So if you're
Yeah,
thinking about starting a firm, don't hesitate, just start and keep on like running the show no matter what. So
yeah, because
yeah,
I guess you have to start someday if you aspire
yeah,
to. If you do not, perfectly
yeah.
fine, to each one their own. I think scale doesn't matter when you start, what you are delivering in that project and how it's going to be a sample project for your future clients. That's what matters.
Right, right, right. Well said. Like, even if you're designing a small kitchen or a small table, it's the thought that you give in designing every detail, like of that table or for the
Yeah,
kitchen, which is important. Like, you give your 100% to whatever you're doing. Even if you're designing a small sofa, to say, or a center table, it's
yeah,
like the thought that goes into it. If you crack that, then you can, design big projects also. Then it's nothing
yeah.
is, yeah, difficult.
Okay, so how do you see architecture in the coming few years, like say 5 years from now? And I mean, what are the things you feel that okay, these can be good changes and interventions? Like, for example, I'll tell you, so many people are going for sustainable architecture now, like green architecture. And I am a huge advocate of green architecture. Like, I'm someone who'll be like, I'll choose to put dash of greens. And by greens, people, sometimes they have this confusion. Okay, like planting trees is the green architecture. No, like your choice of materials, what techniques you are doing, water harvesting, and many other things. These are like the few points. And there are so many people. I mean, I'm not calling out anybody, but there are so many people who are not at, I mean, putting their mind into it. For example, if you are in a continental weather, like the place where I am in, it's really harsh in summers. So there is no point in putting like big, big glass windows on the elevation where the scorching sun is there at like 12 p.m. You'll be trapped inside. You feel like you are in an oven, and then you have to put on the AC, and then you are adding up to everything outside. So for me, sustainability is really good. So what do you think? There are so many talks on LinkedIn or different platforms of industries where they are talking about different interventions and approach towards architecture. So what are your few favorite ones?
As you asked, like, how do you see architecture in the next 5 years, of like how the people have started working? And also, I would say that it's I feel it's a very positive thing that is happening right now is a lot of people are coming and starting their small individual firms.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier it was the scene that there are only a few big players in the market. They used to majorly they used to do all the projects, and everything used to be defined by the work that they do. But now there
Yeah.
are so many small scale, medium scale firms coming up who are responsibly designing, and as you said, green architecture, sustainable architecture for me also is very important. Like I really like how sustainable architecture works, but people are getting, I feel people are getting more responsible in how they design. There are a few people who are not giving it a thought,
Yeah.
but that's okay. There are going to be people, but what I feel is now a lot of people are coming in, and probably in the next 5-10 years, it will be a good shift where small, medium scale firms are also given importance. And right now, I can see big clients also approaching small firms. Like they are not. There is a change in the mentality of the people also. They are looking for good work,
Yeah.
work with like responsible people who are doing clean work.
That is really good actually to hear that.
Yes,
I
yes,
was not
yes,
aware of
yes.
that fact because that means that now the template of business is changing.
Yeah, that's what I can see. But yeah, I may be
I
wrong,
think
but yeah, it is a
I think
positive
that's
thing
a
to see.
breather for so many budding architects or professionals.
Yes.
But how important it is for you to have a good coordination, and how do you see like different people on the board, like we have electrical, plumbing, and then so many others, yes, hardware and like flooring and everything, even carpenters and all. And how do you think it is important for them to have a word with their architect or interior designer, and then be on the same page at
This is the biggest challenge in our field, like
because I have faced it.
dealing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everyone has faced this. Probably all the clients, designers, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But yeah, having the right team and the right set of people working for you is very important.
Yeah.
Which is why I do ask my clients. I recommend my clients that even if you're like please go ahead with the contractors we are in touch with or what we
Hmm.
recommend. There is a small misconception that clients have that, people do have the small cuts and corners around if you're working with your
Yeah.
contractor. But the thing is, I'm not getting into all of those details, but working with a professionals team ensures you that you are getting good work done with good coordination, with less hassle. And what
Yeah.
happens is when we have, I personally have taken a lot of time in training my team, my set of contractors, the details that they make. So what
Hmm.
happens is, as a professional, I or any professional cannot be on site like 24/7.
Of course, it's
So
not
it is,
possible.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So because of that, we have a set of people who we have trained, and if they do the site, you can definitely see the difference in the detailing, finishing, and the implementation. So yeah, having the right set of people and team is the most important, the most important. Yes, yes. As we discussed earlier, like good design or a good product is all about bridging all these gaps between the clients, the vendors, the contractors. If you have that
Mm.
skill, you're able to bridge all those gaps, then perfect.
Yeah, I know.
Also, what I believe is that design is very subjective. So, if according to me the design is not proper, but the finishing and the work that has been implemented is done well, the design is going to look good no matter what. But if even in the bestest of the details and designing that you do, if the work is not implemented well, then it's not going to look good.
Yeah, very well said that. You are a smart guy. Okay,
Thank you.
one last
Yeah.
question.
Yes.
Do you believe in following trends when it comes to designing a project? Like right now, we see so many people are doing contemporary architecture, right? Like classic contemporary, I would say, and where they have neoclassical and then And they really follow the pattern, like providing a fireplace in the lobby, and then
Yeah.
doing furniture a certain way. If there is a grand scale, and then having the entry foil in a certain with pillars, and you know what I'm saying. I'm explaining it more for someone who's not from this field to have a reference what I'm talking about. Do you see? Because I see a lot of similarity in the projects that's happening over a year or so, and somehow I feel that they are all same now for
Yes.
some people. I mean, and I feel that okay, there should be some uniqueness in your project when you are doing it. Should leave your signature element in the project. And I do not feel in following trends because I mean, we are not doing fashion, we are doing architecture, right? But what is your take on that?
So what I feel is, uh, I am not a, like pro following so many trends, like because we as a designer we definitely want to explore new designs, how
Hmm.
to bring a particular character into the design. Like for example, if you are going to stay in the house, I need to uh, look for your requirements, your way of living, and implement it in the design. And just by
Yeah,
following trends, what I'll do is I will probably force a lifestyle on you, which you have to probably adapt to.
very well said. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Following trends is not bad because it is easy for the client to understand, like they have seen this, that
Hmm.
I want this. But
Yeah.
again, even if you're following trends, what I would say is at least add a personal touch to it. Don't blindly follow it. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, change the details according to the context and don't ignore the context what I am saying. Even if you're following the trends, don't blindly make anything like just put a glass window so that I have seen it over there, but
Yeah.
it's not energy efficient in my place. So, yeah, following
Exactly.
trends can be risky if you follow it blindly.
Yeah, because I feel that whenever you're building something, you have to build it for the client. Of course, you are
Yes.
building your portfolio as well. We cannot ignore that fact because someone is going to be like, can you please show me what kind of work you're doing and what is your preference? What is your idea of design? But we do not want it to look same. Like the whole city should not look same.
Yes, yes. And you
There
need to
should be
understand,
uniqueness.
sorry, yeah,
No, no, please continue.
yeah, that the space that we are designing, you're going to use it for the next, you're going to use it for the next 15 years, probably 20 years.
Yeah,
So you are forcing a lifestyle of someone else just, for the security that I know that this is going to look good. I've seen it over here
exactly.
and not trusting the designer. Even it's a challenge for the designers. Actually, I would say that a few designers are blindly doing certain things, but you need to understand to be responsible for your design
I
for
know
a
many.
client.
Trust
Yeah,
me.
yes. Because whatever we are building, be it infrastructure, public infrastructure or a home, public infrastructure is going to be used for the next 50 years by those people.
Yeah,
Your home is probably going to be used by for like 10-15 years. So it is a huge
yeah,
impact that you are going to leave onto anyone that is using that space. So I would
exactly.
suggest that be responsible as designers also whenever you're
Because
doing anything.
I think designers can make a huge impact because, for example, I'm an architect and then I'm an urban designer. So I would say architecture is like working for one core ownership, and then
Yes.
urban design is like a huge scale where they are like it's a city scale. So whatever you are building and as an architect, you are building a block in that city, right? It doesn't
Yes.
matter how big or small the block is. So you end up putting that little bit of your work in the city, which is going to, streamline or interrupt the rest of the functioning of the city. So do
Yes.
it mindfully. Do not just see that, okay, somewhere in Paris it's built like this and it's looking nice. So I'm going to make exactly like that in Rajasthan. That doesn't work.
Absolutely. Doesn't work. Doesn't work.
And people might be liking it. I know. And you can. There is no, harm in picking few elements from it. Like you can pick the reference for a furniture or a color palette or little bit of exterior, like details of window or how they do their doors and elevation. But you cannot copy paste.
Absolutely, absolutely. I have seen, in fact, in the name of sustainable and local architecture, I have seen people use sandstone in Mumbai and stone available in Rajasthan and Mumbai and calling it
Yeah,
local. But local means that you use materials which are available easily and
yeah,
not
vernacular
import.
architecture.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, it is a long debate again. This topic
Yeah,
cannot
it
end.
is.
Yeah. I have seen designs where you are standing outside the structure and inside the structure there is a difference of 7 to 8 degrees. So if you
Yeah.
are, yeah, designing it that mindfully, it does impact. You're not, matlab, I didn't need to switch on the AC in that project.
Or like one line in which you can wrap up the conversation saying that, okay, if you are joining architecture, this is something you need to know. Yeah.
I I actually yesterday I advised two people not to take up architecture.
Oh my God.
Going
Do not
around
do
telling
bad
people
promotion
not
of architecture.
telling people not to join architecture if you don't have like the rigor to complete the course, to do it in the right way. What people see is like so many rich architects earning and
Yeah,
minting
yeah.
money and
They
everything, and
idolize
the
them
fancy
so
things.
much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's completely opposite. If you are
Yeah.
someone who is looking for a like a wealthy package and a 9 to 5 job, if you're not willing to stay up nights or put in the hard work, you are firstly not going to clear the academics only.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is a very rigorous process. I don't know about the recent curriculum, but yeah, architecture is not something that you can, study for 2 months and clear. It is a very rigorous
Yeah.
process, and even when you are a professional, and if you don't have, all fancy contacts or a lot of connect with people, it is
Yeah.
a late blooming profession. Like,
I know.
yeah. So if you have the patience, please get into it, or otherwise don't get into it. But yeah,
Yeah.
it is a very creative field. It is a very creative field, and you
Of
will enjoy
course.
it. Yeah, very
Okay,
true.
Ash, thank you so much for doing this with us. And with this, we're going to wrap up our podcast. This podcast is going to go live on my YouTube channel, and you can listen to it on Spotify. If you do not have the time to surf to the YouTube, you can also listen it on Spotify. I will link the uh, YouTube and the Spotify in the description of my YouTube channel, and I will link his professional handle also in case you want to connect with him for any architectural service or for guidance for anything. You can message him on his, he's owning a firm, so you can reach out to the Instagram page of his firm, and he's doing some amazing quality work. So yeah, thank you so much, and we'll see
Thank
you next
you.
time. Bye
Thank you. Thank
bye.
you, Manpreet.